Hi, everybody. My name's Luis Gutierrez, and welcome to another episode of the Geek Press podcast. I don't remember what number this is at the top of my head, but I'm Luis Gutierrez, and I'm joined by my good, esteemed colleague who's right here on this side of me, Jacob Knight. Jacob Knight, take it away while I
Hey,
find out what episode we're on.
hello. You know what? What matters about this episode is that it is top 10 because it's in the top 10 first episodes. So we are top 10. Spread the news around. We are in the top 10 of all podcasts because we're this is like number 8 or either number 2.
Episode
We're
5.
very episode 5.
Episode 5.
Episode 5, so exciting. We're here to talk about things no one cares about. Does the internet need 2 more chubby guys to rant about shit that doesn't matter? No, but here we are anyways, and we're here to give our opinions about things, and that's what really matters.
My teeth are like shiny. Sorry.
My teeth are like yellow.
Okay, so just a quick update for people who only listen to the audio version, because I know we get a good little handful of people. If you're wondering where we've been, both me and Jacob Knight are students, and as you all know, COVID, everything's going on in the world, and I had taken a ludicrous amount of classes, and Noah Garcia was taking classes as well, and we both needed time to focus on our academics rather than this, because at the end of the day, this is a passion project. We don't get paid for this. We do this on our spare time, and I'd love to do this more during school, and I think I can do it during school next semester,
Mhm.
but we just needed to focus on school. That was the big reason why we pretty much halted production for like 3 months and posted
Mhm.
videos here and there on YouTube and here and there on Instagram and whatnot. But yeah, so that's why we halted production. But we're both entering our winter break, so we're gonna try to get the ball rolling on our weekly podcast and everything again. Anything else you want to say? Catch people up to speed on anything really quick?
I just think if you ever want to find us in between these videos and podcasts, you can always jump on our TikTok, Instagram, Twitter at the Geek Press, the Geek Press. Just look it up right there. Lots of fun nonsense there. So if you ever like, man, I sure miss these lovable idiots, you can just go over there.
Yeah. If you're watching this on YouTube, I
Mhm.
always link all of our social medias and everything. And I know Jacob Knight has his own private YouTube channel that he does. Like,
We
he
don't need to link that. We don't need to link
I
that.
always link it. I link it in all my videos. He does like comic book reviews, vlogs, a little bit of everything. You get a little bit, you get a window into his life, for better or worse. And but yeah, so I always link that stuff. But for people that are listening on Instagram and Twitter, we're at Da Geek Press, so DA and then Geek Press. It's spelled out how it sounds. And on TikTok, we actually got the Geek Press, so the Geek Press, and it's spelled out how it sounds. So I just wanted to clarify that too, really quick, for people listening on audio versions that don't go over to YouTube or anything else like that.
See, this is our relationship, folks. I tried to plug our social medias, and he did it better just to show up me.
Yeah,
So that's it. That's the only reason Lewis does this is that he can be better than me.
it's like when those hot girls
Yeah.
have the ugly fender. I'm just fucking with you.
I no, that's true. I am the Duff of any group, the designated ugly fat friend.
I was thinking like Duffman from The Simpsons. I was like,
Oh
Duffman's a boss.
no, Duffman is hot. I
Duffman, oh
agree.
yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, no, I'm not. I am the Duff.
So
I had a podcast. Lewis started a podcast. I had a YouTube. Lewis started. It's just he just has to
I,
do it better.
I'm like that neighbor from Fairly Odd Parents. What was his name?
I don't.
The one that Timmy's dad is always hating because he's always one upping him.
Dinkelberg.
Yeah, I'm Dinkelberg.
I respect that. Okay, so what is our topic for
So
today?
our topic today is how the water's turning to frogs gay. No, I'm just kidding. But our topic of today is that
Oh my god.
it's December. This as a
Mhm.
recording is it's December 17th. I'm gonna try to have it out the same day. If not, I'm gonna have it out within 7 days. But
If this premieres in January.
yeah. But
Where's the lie though?
the year is coming down to an end. um we do a lot of content. When the stuff I cover is mainly video game focused, the stuff Mr. Jacob Knight here covers is mostly either movies or comic book focused. So I wanted to talk about a little bit video games. We both play video games, and I wanted to talk about like some of the best games that we thought came out this year.
Mm.
I guess I didn't I may have gave you some confusing information. So he got a list of the best PlayStation games because he plays on PlayStation, and I got a list of just all the other games I played this year. Which reminds me, I need to add on one more game to that list.
Okay, while you add that game to the list, I want to say, gentle listeners and gentle viewers, maybe rough listeners. I don't know what you're into, but I respect it. The point is that Mr. Lewis here texted me to put the PS4 games that were
I
best of
did.
this year. So it's all on his head. But you know what? It works out because I have PS4 exclusives on my list. So it kind of works out.
Yeah, and
Since
I have an Xbox, so
Mhm.
I obviously can't play those games for obvious reasons.
Yeah, because Xbox has no exclusive titles aside from Halo.
And
So
Gears, and
who cares about Gears?
Sea of
Wait, I
Thieves.
was about to say, is Siege? Sea of Thieves is also on PS4,
No,
isn't
it's
it?
not. It's a place. I mean, it's an
Oh,
Xbox.
but it's also on PC, so it's not. Is it on PC?
Yeah, well, all the Xbox exclusives are also on PC as well.
Well, then they're not exclusives.
Well, there you can only get it through like the
No,
Microsoft. Wait, no, you get it on
no.
Steam as well.
Yeah, fuck you. See, okay, I think both of us don't, in the end of the day, don't care too much about console wars or
Nah,
anything. But if there's one thing I think PS4 has always been good with, it's exclusive PS4 titles.
that is true.
So I think they've always been good with that. And I think contrary to them, Xbox has always had good hardware. So as far as my novice brain knows, because Lewis is more the video game tech person than I, but that's always how I've seen it. So it's whatever you want, really.
So
We have Spider-Man.
I got my list right here. So I
Okay,
think
I have.
we could just kind of do like a back and forth. You say one, I say one, you say one, I say one.
Okay, okay,
You can
you go
start us off.
first.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'll start off then since you graciously offered. I have my list separated into good, meh, and ugly. And the first thing on my good list is Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Hmm.
Okay, let me tell you something. The only Final Fantasy game I've ever played was Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, which was a PSP game, which was a prequel to the original Final Fantasy VII. So that's the only knowledge I have of Final Fantasy VII. And
That's a
what's
good
really
one though to have.
yeah, but the thing is that when you have these remakes, you always have this conundrum. Like people are gonna be like, "Oh, just give us a game with higher quality," or they're like, "Why are you just doing the same story over again?"
Mm-hmm.
So what this game does, aside from really like fluid and fun combat mechanics, it kind of gives you the same story but also tweaks it.
And
So
the
you get
combat is sorry. The
no, it's
combat's
okay.
like Final Fantasy 15, right? Where it's like it's not turn
Yeah,
based, it's live action like move.
yes,
Okay,
it's
okay.
a lot less open. It's not as open world, but it is very like don't take your turn. You can maneuver around the field. So yeah, it is very 15 inspired, and it's good. So it has old story and it has new stuff. So I'm down to see the second part because they split it into two parts. So
I thought it was three.
is it three? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
You're the video game guy.
So are you still going?
No, that's it for me.
Okay.
Give me your first one.
So first one right here, shout out to GameInformer.com. They have a list of like literally every game that's came out this year. And so I'm going off the list right here, and some of the games are out of order, but I have them in no particular order. First one was Journey to the Savage Planet. So it was a
Mhm.
game by 505, I want to say. And is 505 Remedy Games? I should know this. Are they? I don't know. But it's a game essentially. It's like a $30 game, and it's meant to be a kind of like a nonchalant, like funny game. You could play it with alone or with a buddy, and I played it with a good friend of mine, Colin, for a little while, but we just stopped playing it. So the premise of the game is you play as this astronaut, and you're working for like this dystopian company. And it's like, oh, you're forced to like go on this planet where nobody knows what the hell's going on there. But here you go have fun. And like the narrator's like, yeah, this thing could kill you, but we're gonna respawn you a million times. And every time you respawn, you're not the same person. So you're dying. And it's like they're taking little jabs and stuff. And they got all these weird like gimmicks or like eggplants that shoot out gas. You see aliens flying throughout the air, like coming and swooping you up. And it's a lot of fun to play because like it can get a little stressful, but it's like a fun stress kind of thing, you know? You're like, oh shit, get like you could just start bouncing on little bouncy pads, shoot little claws and climb on the walls. So it's really fun. It's like it's a first person, I guess it's a first person shooter at its core, but it has a lot of puzzle mechanics to it, and that's what I really loved about it. It was a super fun game to play.
Uh, before I go on to my second game, I need to address drama. Uh, Colin Bass is an actor and internet personality. He has a Power Rangers fan series,
He has a few.
and he has a few. He has a couple of them. And I, for one of them, I believe it's First Ninja. He said that he plays a character who's starting out Ninja Wind Academy, and I messaged him. I said, "Hey, can I be this second student of the Ninja Wind Academy?" And then the other day on his Instagram, I see he's starting a new series about Wind Ninja Power Rangers, and I'm not invited. This is Wind Ninja Academy's second student has been in my bio for almost a year now.
Let me check
So
if
I'm
it is on your
insulted.
bio right now too.
It is on my bio right now. I haven't gotten rid of it. It's been there for months,
Let
almost
me
a
pull
whole
it up.
year, almost a whole year. So I'm a little insulted. I wasn't even asked to be a part of this project. I'll drive down to San
Yeah,
Diego.
let's see if he could. It's not focused. Yeah, but it's there. It's there. For your
It's
audio
there.
listeners, I was pulling up his bio, and it does say like it says second student with Ninja Academy. Okay, well I'm passing it to you now. Let's keep the ball rolling.
Okay, enough with that drama. I'll be crushed for the rest of my life. The next game on my list is actually a C RPG, which is a Chinese RPG. It's called Genshin Impact. Let me tell you, this game is very. My roommates, they have dubbed it Breath of the Weebs because it has similar Zelda aesthetics, but the thing that separates it is not only like the heavy Chinese stylistic influence that can be seen in some of the characters, but also the fact that there's this really well developed and varied elemental combat system that you can use, and there's different weapon types, and it's this open world free to play RPG that I've been really enjoying. And of course it's one of those games where they're going to try to get you to buy their jewels so you can buy this, but if you just have some patience and you're fine with taking your time leveling up, you don't need to spend actual money. And I've just enjoyed it, and the story is very lighthearted and fun, and that's the second on my good list.
And that game is also PlayStation, PlayStation 4, 5, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And it's mobile and on PC as well. So
Yeah.
it's on 3 different platforms.
Yeah, it's on different platforms. So
And it's
if you want
free.
to try it, it is free. That's what's cool about it. It's on PlayStation 4, Switch, Android, and Microsoft Windows.
It's on Switch. Oh fuck, I might
It is
install
on
it.
Switch. I entered a contest for a free Switch. So
I saw that.
if
Yeah.
if I don't win, I'm gonna cry.
I didn't know that. I'm gonna install it on my Switch because I've been wanting to play it. Okay.
Yeah. So take it away.
So next on mine, this is a no-brainer. I don't think I really need to explain why this is on my list. Animal Crossing New Horizon. This was actually the reason why I bought a Nintendo Switch. I did not give two fucks about Animal Crossing prior to this. Didn't really know what it was to begin with. I've seen the drawings, I've seen the characters, and I remember when I went to E3, I drove with my coworker day one, and he was like, Animal Crossing, Animal Crossing, and I'm like, the fuck is Animal Crossing? And then I saw it, and I was like, huh, this looks like a fun little game. And Elizabeth was like, oh, Animal Crossing looks super fun. And so like I literally convinced two of my friends to buy Switches, three of my friends to buy Switches, and we all like me, my three friends, and Elizabeth. So it was like five of us, yeah.
See, why do you do this? Why do you do this to people?
And we all played Animal Crossing for like a good month and a half, give or take, and we're all visiting each other's islands, and it was like super fun, especially too because it was at the start of the very start of the pandemic. So it was cool. It was really cool. So even I haven't played the game in like literally months, but it's still up there on my list.
I respect that. I don't respect the fact that you force people to buy games to play with you. Because audience, he's done that to me too. He's just like, buy this, buy this.
I've been telling him to get Minecraft.
Yeah, I no, I'm not gonna buy Minecraft. I don't need Minecraft.
Just get Xbox Game Pass, and then
I don't want to get a
it
Game Pass.
You can get it on your computer. You can join around and play with us.
The point is, it looks like a cute game.
It is. Okay. It's fun.
The next on my list, because I'm assuming you're done talking.
Mm-hmm.
For once, next on my list is Ghost of Tsushima, which is it's a very beautiful game, and just story and aesthetic wise, it flows really well. And for many of these, I have played, and some of these I haven't. So I'm not going to be speaking on the technical here because I haven't played the game, but just for so far how it looks and the story, it's just really invigorating. And sometimes you see settings like, oh, Japan, ancient medieval Japan, like old medieval night. Like sometimes you see these settings and you're just like, oh, I know what I'm getting into. But this really just is such a beautiful addition to games of those era, and it was really interesting. It was really fun watching.
I have two things to comment on that.
Yeah, of
One
course.
is like you don't even necessarily like this is what I love about gaming
Mhm,
today is that you don't need to like play the game to be your
mhm.
favorite game. Like you watch like 90% of my streams and you fell in love with Final Fantasy 15 just by watching me play the game. And I'm pretty sure on your end it felt like you were very much a part of that journey as much as I was.
I loved it so much I got it.
Exactly. Yeah,
After
exactly.
you were done, I was like, I want to play this, so I got it.
Or like when I played Red Dead, I'm pretty sure you were just like, damn, like
Oh,
I'm pretty sure you fell in love with that game as much as I fell in love with that game.
oh yeah, I fell in love with it for multiple reasons.
Also, second note, so I just finished taking a film as a history class, and it was all
Mm.
about samurai culture. And I brought up that game in class, and that game is like incredibly historically inaccurate because the I forget the island.
Exposed.
I forget the island that he's defending in the game. But it's a real island. It's a real island in Japan. It's like the coast of Japan, and I believe you're fighting off the Mongolians or or Korea, one of the two. I forget which one, but this is all historical. That's historically accurate. And as the invaders were coming to Japan, a big wave just came in and fucked up all of them, and like a good chunk, like 90, almost like 90% of the troops, invading troops, got killed in this tsunami. Well, not tsunami, but like this big storm in the ocean. And as soon as they came to Japan, Japan was just like, all right, shake, you're dead. And that was the truth of the matter. But in Ghost of Tsushima, I haven't played it, but the story is like this lone samurai defends the outskirts from the invaders. But no, that's not what happened at all. But it was funny. I think that was like kind of funny though.
Drag them, expose them. I think that's very funny because if you're back then and you have to like you, such low technology and people are invading and there's a giant wave that just destroys them all. You have to believe God is real.
Yeah.
You have to be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh,
Most
oh,
definitely.
our gods are on our side. Fuck them. Let's go kill them. Like that's how you start sacrificing babies, ish like that. It's just like, oh, gods are real. So
Alright.
yeah, that was on my list.
So next up was Doom Eternal. This is a game I've recently discovered because I was there's tweets. You can find tweets of mine where I was like, Doom Eternal is you play it for 10 minutes, you play the whole game. Like I was talking shit on Doom Eternal for a little bit.
As you always talk shit about everything.
Mm-hmm. And then it went on Game Pass, and I was like, let me play it. It's on Game Pass. Fucking fell in love with it insanely quick. I was like, holy shit, this game is fun. And also too, what like was unique about this game was like I said, when we went on hiatus with the Geek Press, I also went on a hiatus for a very long time for streaming. And streaming, I started streaming again before I started doing Geek Press, just because it's easier. I don't gotta like edit and shit. Anyways, I digress. This was a game that I found during that hiatus, and I kind of felt like there was a void. I was like, damn, I'm not streaming. I'm like, I love interacting with like I feel like really scummy saying this, but like my fans. I like interacting with my fans, even though like I only have like 3 people tune in, Jacob Knight being one of them.
Hey, the other day you got like 6 or 7. So
Yep.
that was something. That's why I didn't talk in chat. I was like, he's with his fans. He'll be quiet.
And yeah, so this was one of those games I played, and it was just like I played it on the hardest difficulty, and I was like, this is fun. It was really it filled that void for me.
I think it's interesting also how you put Animal Crossing and Doom right next to each other because they did have a fun phenomenon. If
Mm-hmm.
everyone doesn't remember, where it was just like Animal Crossing fans and Doom Eternal fans crossing over and supporting each
It
other.
was a fun.
It was a very cute internet moment.
Mm-hmm. You don't see those too often.
Yeah, and you saw what's the name of the guy in Doom Eternal? Like
The Doom guy.
yeah, the Doom guy. Like people would do fan art of him, like gardening and fishing.
And then you got
And then,
Isabel with, like, a
and
machine
then yeah,
gun.
it's like Isabel just shooting up mothers.
All right, let's
So
pass
yeah.
to you.
Okay, off to me. Now
When you
my
got Josuke.
my fourth edition is going to be Spider-Man Miles Morales. Now let me tell you something.
A Spider-Man that's not white.
Shut up.
I'm just kidding.
Shut up. I know.
I'm kidding for it.
That wasn't even good parody. Like, it didn't. Okay, what's good about this game? Internet veteran Yahtzee Croshaw, I'm going to butcher this quote, said that a good sequel takes everything that works about its previous edition and improves on it and adds to it. And I feel like that is really what Miles Morales is about. You know, yes, he's a different character, but he has a different power set. He has different outfits. He has different characters in his life. And it takes the mechanics and world of the original Spider-Man game and improves upon them and adds new story details. And I think it's I would say, I wouldn't say better, but it's on par with the previous Spider-Man. And it's really good. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch like Let's Plays of that, but I'm gonna get a PlayStation 5 eventually. I probably in like 6 months or so when the
You're
price drops.
crazy.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
same. I'm also waiting for the price drop. I don't need that right now.
yeah, I'm gonna wait like 6 months or so, maybe a year, more likely a year till the price drops. Because I was gonna watch a Let's Plays of Spider-Man and Miles Morales. But I was like, I want to save myself because I want to go in like I don't really know what happens in the game too much, you know. But it looks fucking beautiful. Oof.
Oh, so good, so good. And my favorite part on social media has been people recreating the Into the Spider-Verse where he
Yeah.
falls, because that's an available suit, people.
Mhm.
So why would you
It's
not
free,
do
huh?
that? Why would you not recreate it? Like, just jump off the Empire State. Don't stop me now. Like, it's so good, so
Don't
good.
stop me now. Having such a
Lewis,
good
it's your
time.
turn. So talk about crap. Lewis, it's your
So
turn.
next up on my list, is Resident Evil 3. So if
That
you
was almost
go
going to be on my list. That was almost going to be on my list.
so if you go like tip for tap for like
Mhm.
Resident Evils, this is more of the weaker ones, I would say, in the
Okay.
series. I never played Resident Evil 1, but I watched the whole like playthrough of it. Resident Evil 3 and 1 are the only two Resident Evils. Well, now it's only one that I haven't played. There's a spin-offs I haven't played, but I don't really count those. Not because I don't like them, just because they're not in the main story, you know.
Mhm.
But in Zero, I haven't played Zero as well. But Resident Evil 2 was fucking phenomenal. I never played Resident Evil 2 when it came out, so when they had the remastered version, I loved it. It was great. It was a horror game through and through. And then Resident Evil 7, which in my opinion it's the best one. Because it's really, really good. But the reason why I say 3 is probably one of the weaker ones in the series. That being said, I think it's obviously better than Resident Evil 5, and I think it's better than Resident Evil 6 because those ones are pretty bad. But this one wasn't as scary as Resident Evil 2 because like Resident for people who watch my streams, I like to play games on hardest difficulty. And I played Resident Evil 2 on the hardest difficulty. One of the things I was really fond of that game was because I played it on the hardest difficulty, ammo was so scarce. So if I run through, there would be like a whole room full of zombies. And I'd be like, shit, all right, I need to find out how I need to get through this room.
Yeah, you got to think about it. You got to strategize.
I'm like, how do I get through this room without wasting a single bullet? Or at least shooting no more than 2 bullets. And in Resident Evil 3, it's like I played it on the hardest difficulty, and I felt like that gif of Danny DeVito. I was like, so I just started blasting because I just found ammo everywhere, and like, like they give you a machine gun like pretty early on in the game, and so I was like, damn, this is easy. I'm just running down and mowing down zombies, which is fun, but it didn't have that Resident Evil like scare to it, you know.
So would you say, like, contrary to my Spider-Man thing I just said, this would be an improvement down? It would be like
Yeah,
the quality went down in your
the
opinion.
quality went down, but it's still good enough to be on the list.
Mhm.
All right, let's bounce it to
Nice.
you.
Okay, bouncing it back to me. My next one is, drum roll please. Brrr. No, that's Yakuza
loud?
like a dragon. Yakuza like a dragon.
Ooh, that's on my list too.
Oh, then let's talk about it both together.
Okay, you go first.
Okay, it's so cute.
Mhm.
It's so full of charisma and charm, and I think
Ichiban is
you'll
like the most ideal fucking protagonist.
he's like a white knight. He's
Yeah, I love
best
him.
boy. He's best boy. Him and his crew, they're just it's funny because I think his idealized version of the Yakuza is like honor bound, like
Hmm.
outside society people who just need a family, but like the real Yakuza will just kill babies and not care.
Yeah,
So like he was very I'm glad due to story stuff, he kind of separates a bit from the Yakuza.
yeah.
And I don't want to spoil too much, even though I kind of did,
Oh
but
no,
you know, he kind of
that's like in
yeah.
the bio of the game.
Yeah. So it's just his own journey is just so he's such a good character. Like he's a well done character, and his associates are also really well done. So maybe if you want to go into the
Yeah,
technical stuff since
I,
you
I
played it.
was I was listening. Oh, so I don't know. You haven't played it, right? You're only watching my streams,
No.
I would say. No, I don't want
Yeah.
to sound condescending.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
okay. No, it's okay.
Uh,
You're only
um,
watching my
but
streams.
I was listening to shout out to GameSpot. They're a really good news gaming news outlet, by the way. I was listening to one of their podcasts, and I didn't think about this just because I'm not, I'm not an older person. These people in their podcast, I don't know how old they are, but they're obviously older than us. And
Mhm.
one of the guys on the podcast was saying that one thing that really resonated well with him, and it obviously it's going to go over my head. It's an RPG. Correction, it's a JRPG game. It's a turn-based battle game, which doesn't even feel like a turn-based battle game. It moves really fluently.
Mhm.
But one thing he was like, yeah, when you play RPGs in general, you're always this young, charismatic dude, like so hopeful in the world. And one thing
Mhm.
that resonated with him was that like Ichiban is like a 40-year-old man, and he's the hero of this story, and all of his
Daddy.
and all of his whole party, they're all older people. Like
Mhm.
the lady's like in her 30s, I want to say 40s.
Yeah.
And then you have like a retired cop, so he's like near his 50s. You have a homeless nurse who was like in his 40s as well. And they're all older people on this journey, and they're like, just because you're old, just it's gonna sound no, just because you're
No, I
older, yeah,
uh
just because you're older doesn't mean you have to be old at heart. And it's like
yeah.
something too that they were saying on this podcast. It was like this made them feel young again. This made them feel
Mhm.
hopeful because Ichiban is just a hopeful person, and he
Yeah.
like sparks that thing into you. You're like, yeah, I can do this. It's like his whole thing
Mhm.
is like, it's not too late to be a hero.
Yeah, and that's
Uh-huh.
so great. I mean, because he kind of does. You could call his endless optimism childish,
Yeah.
really. And I think the fact that he is that old and he still has that spark of like, it's if we just try our best, things will work out. Like, there's always hope. I think that could really resonate with people who are a bit older and maybe like have become a bit jaded.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
that's cool.
It's just it's a really good game, and there are I believe there's like 8 Yakuza games, I want to say.
Yeah, I want to say this is this a spinoff or I think this is the seventh or
This is okay. So, and
I'll
I
look it
want to
up.
say okay. So let's just say for the sake of conversation, there's 8 Yakuzas, and Like a Dragon is number 8. Yakuza's then there's like Yakuza 0 through 7. You play as like one dude and you follow his story. And then in Like a Dragon, it's in that same world, same universe, everything, but you play as another guy like with another Yakuza clan. So it's a spinoff, but it's also a good starting point too. And Yakuza Like a Dragon was one of those games where like I really wanted to get into, but it's just super intimidating when you see like Yakuza 6, Yakuza 5, Yakuza 3. I'm like, fuck, I gotta get through like 8 games just to like understand the story. But this one was really good because like I could just literally just jump right into it.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a really great jumping on point
Hmm.
for fans who have heard of Yakuza but know nothing about it. Because you really don't have to know. I don't think you really have to know the rest of the games
No.
to enjoy this because it's an isolated story. And
Hmm.
then once you jump into this, and then you're like, okay, I like how this works. Let me see the other ones. So you can
Yeah.
just jump into
What's
the other
also
ones.
important if you're looking to jump into the other ones, uh, as far as I know, I think this one and maybe one other one has a dub option. So I'm playing this in dub, but all the rest are in traditional Japanese because it is a Japanese game. And this is the only one, as far as I know, that's a turn-based game. So the other ones are live action. So not like live action, but like you have to like respond immediately to what they're doing. So I guess I'll go
Yeah,
next.
you go next.
Uh, one I have on my list is Minecraft Dungeons. So it's if you're into like games like Diablo or Diablo, this is the game for you because Minecraft Dungeons is like the family friendly version of that, but it also has that Minecraft like charm and lore to it.
Mhm.
Um, Me and my buddies one night we stayed up almost all night and almost beat the entire game. We never went back to it. We need to though, but it just had that special memory because it was like I never got these group of friends together, and the second I did, we all like because we all have Game Pass, and we all
Mhm.
just downloaded it because it was a small game to download. And we're like, fuck yeah, let's just muscle through this. But then we just got stuck at the final boss, and we're like, all right, let's just go to bed. But it's a super fun game.
Mhm.
I think you could play local co-op as well. I could be mistaken on that, but it's a fun game to play with your friends. Super super fun game. Like I was surprised of how much I enjoyed it. So passing it to you.
Passing it back to
Edits.
me. We didn't edit anything. This is all one take. Okay, so those were all my good games.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go on to the meh games, and my first meh game was The Last of Us Part Two.
Game
Yeah,
of the year, Last of Us Part Two.
game of the year.
Neil
Okay,
Druckmann, you hear that? Troy Baker, Lee.
no, their performances are lovely. Their performance, I love Troy Baker so much.
Who's? Hold on, I'm gonna look up the cast. I should know this.
Yeah, you should as a game journalist,
Hmm.
but I'll just keep talking while you look it up. There's something
Laura
inherently
Bailey. No, I like Laura Bailey. She's cool. You get a pass, Laura.
okay.
But you, Troy? No, just kidding.
The thing is that the gameplay is approved upon. It's very well done. So in that technical aspect and the visual aspect, it's good. The only issues I kind of have is with the story, and I feel like that's something a lot of people have trouble with. And there's just it's in the sense that there's not exactly anything wrong with the story because if anything, it made me realize that it truly is a sequel to the first game, which is kind of people being hopeless and continuing the cycle of hate and never getting out of that. And it's just it feels like there's no resolution or point to anything. And I suppose you can make the argument of, well, sometimes life doesn't have a resolution. Sometimes things just end and you find yourself bitter and alone and you just continue that. But I don't think that's really what games are for. So just I, I had problems with the story. I could probably go into deeper detail, but I'm
can
playing it
can
again. Yeah,
can
go
I
for
play
it.
devil's advocate on that one?
Yeah, go
Uh,
for it.
I I do like games that do that where it's like it forces you. Like sometimes there is no happy ending, you know.
Yeah, I understand that.
And
And I
one of the games I could think of is just because I recently brought it up is Red Dead Redemption.
mhm.
Like yeah, sure, Arthur has this whole redemption arc, but things don't end good for him at the end of
Yeah,
the
they
day. He
don't.
he gets murdered regardless.
Mhm.
And like that's sometimes I think that's why I love video games so much as an art form, just because it's like sometimes it's meant to make you feel a little uncomfortable. Sometimes it's
Mhm.
like, yeah, that argument could be made. You play video games to escape, but you do anything to escape. You listen to a podcast to
Mhm.
escape, but that's the reality of the world. And if
Yeah, but
you,
I feel like there was a lesson learned with that though. Like Arthur's death meant something to other people,
Mhm.
and they changed because of that. But in The Last of Us 2, things that happen, I'm gonna try not to spoil it for people if you
I
still
think
want
you
to play it.
can.
No, I don't want to spoil
Okay.
it. But the point is that it just feels like there's no point. Like our character Ellie, after everything she's been through, after the revenge she's taken, after everything she's lost, she doesn't seem to really learn anything. And that's I think the most saddest part of it is that this is who she is as a person now.
Hmm.
And it's sad. That ain't it. That ain't it, Chief.
Okay, really quick, just for the sake
Okay.
of time, I'm gonna speedball through some right now.
Okay.
Okay.
I only have a few left on my list, so
Okay. So I have Destroy All Humans, fun nostalgia purchase.
mhm,
Ground It, it's not fully out yet, but from what I played, fucking loved it.
mhm,
I only played the first iteration, so I haven't played since the updates, but I'm waiting till the game gets fully complete. Really fun game to play with your buddies. Fall
mhm,
Guys, Ultimate Knockout. Need I say more? That's a really fun game to play. Come on. I bought it on my laptop. Battletoads, the one that recently just came out. It was
mhm,
an Xbox that kind of like flew under the radar just because it was more of like a low end game, but it was a really fun game. The story I never played the original Battletoads, but I'm super familiar with the franchise. And why I like this game so much is because me and my girlfriend play it together, and we don't really play many video games together. And she's not really much of a gamer as much as I am, but she really like got invested into this game. Even though we're playing on the hardest difficulty, she's like, "This is fun to play," and it's super. The game is super charming and super self aware. I just loved it. Another one, I'm just gonna quickly speedball. Watch Dogs
Yeah.
Legion. Um, reason why I have Watch Dogs Legions on there, I have a fucking mixed feeling about this game, just because there was an update. Well, there was a glitch in the game for me, and I think other people were having it as well, where like the saving wasn't working. So I made a lot of progress in the game, just for my save file to be gone. And the
Mhm.
game is fun though, super fun. I like the idea of there's no main character and this and that. Okay, sorry, I just needed to bounce through those ones really quick.
No, it's okay. I only really have like 4 games left, so should I
I
just go through those?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, you can take your time now. I wanted to
Okay.
kind of speedball through those
Yeah,
ones.
just like some good fun to play. No, no, no.
Yeah,
Nothing
yeah.
too in depth. My next meh is Marvel's Avengers, which was no, everyone hated that. Don't gasp.
I
Uh
heard the
the
story was pretty solid, but everything else was bad.
aside from a few random parts that didn't seem to make too much sense in the story, it was fine. I thought it was the funniest thing from that whole experience is that everyone was just like, "Oh, Captain America dies at the beginning, and they replace him with a Muslim girl. How could they like know video game fans being video game fans?" And I was just like, you guys are idiots. You really think they'd kill off Captain America? What's wrong with you in a video game? Like, why would we have gameplay? They would not. Let me tell you something, folks. They would not set up and design and code gameplay for Captain America if you could only play him once. So get it
Yeah,
out
that
of
is
your
very true.
butts. Like, they wouldn't spend time on that. So he's of course he's gonna come back.
And why
So
was he
people,
such like the center of like the game?
well, it was in the game because he dies, and people were like, "Cap died." Like, remember what Cap? But it was
Does he
the
come
game
back?
was.
Like how
He
does
comes
that work?
back. He comes back. It turns
Like
out he was like the bad guys took him, and they were like experimenting on him or
some
whatever.
comic book shit?
Yeah, some comic book shit.
Okay,
So the
okay.
point, so the point is, aside from the game being glitchy and the story being weird, it's just a very meh game, and it
Hmm.
didn't make its money. And I don't need to see more. I'm good. I'm gonna do one more meh, and then I'll throw it back to you for a
Go for it.
couple.
Go for it.
My next meh is Call of Duty Black Ops,
Oh, okay.
and this is another game that I did not play, unlike others. But I'm strictly gonna speak on the story. It's
Really?
just,
Okay.
yeah, I just don't care because I feel like if you're here for COD, you're not here for the story. You're here for the gameplay. You're here for playing with your friends. You're here for playing online. You're not really there for the story. You're there for the gameplay. So when I look at this as someone who's a newcomer to the series, I look at the story. I'm just like, this is dumb, and I don't like it. And that's all there is to it.
All right,
It's not complex.
I'm gonna disagree with you on that because I have that on my list.
Okay,
Uh,
but I've never heard somebody say, "Oh yeah, you should play COD. Like the story is so good." I've never heard anyone say that.
I will agree with you on that, but I heard the dialogue started changing for that once Modern Warfare came out,
Mhm.
because that's when people are like, "Holy shit, Call of Duty's capable of making some good storylines again."
Which
And
is a Call of Duty game where you shoot up an airport or something?
Modern Warfare 2,
Yeah,
that was a good
no,
one.
no, 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 no,
No
no, no,
Russian.
no,
That was
no, no, no,
straight.
no,
That was a good
no,
level.
no. If I'm gonna play war propaganda, at least let me pretend I'm the good guy. I don't want to
Well,
shoot up
no,
an
there's a
airport.
reason to that though. There was a whole reasoning to that. Okay. All right.
Okay, okay,
R.I.P. Joseph Allen. I think that was his name.
all right.
Anyways, I actually, me and my friends did talk about the storyline, and we really did enjoy it. One thing I liked this one just because it's a sequel to Black Ops 1. So it's a filler, I think, between 1 and 2, I want to say.
Mm,
And what I liked about this one was it was different from all the other Call of Duties in regards to like you actually, even though it comes down to like one or three endings, um you get to like actually choose what happens. You get to
okay.
like there's dialogue options for your character. Granted, there aren't that many, but there's dialogue options for your guy. In the campaign, there's missions where it's like side missions where it's like hack, find out what the KGB left behind. And
Mhm.
it's like these fun little puzzles you have to solve. And I thought the storyline was really good. And then at the end, it's like they throw this whole curveball at you where it's like, no, you were brainwashed by the American government the whole
Mhm.
time. You're actually a KGB agent. And I thought that was really fucking cool. And
Yeah.
also fuck Adler, by the way. But like I thought it was like super super cool that was like
Mhm.
a thing, and then like you get to have an option where it's like, let's see what happens if the bad guys win. And like I went total villain at the end where I killed my entire squad, and the Soviets like nuked fucking half of America. I'm like, this was fucking cool. Like I just thought that was really cool, and I thought it told like a really compelling story in that way.
Give it up, folks. Luis Joshua Gutierrez thinks that nuking the US is
Under
cool
the Soviet banner.
under the Soviet banner. You're the communist Trump has been warning people about. People like you.
And the multiplayer it feels a little arcadey in a sense.
Yeah.
um I think compared to Modern Warfare, it's a step back a little bit.
Mhm.
That being said, still fun. And the zombies, you play the Black Ops series for zombies at the end of the day, let's be
Yeah.
real. Zombies is fun. Zombies is phenomenal. I have
Yeah.
nothing
Zombies
but
is
good things to
fun.
say. Yeah.
If you guys want to watch Lewis terribly fail at fighting off zombies, you can go to I'm Joshua Joestar on Twitch.
All right. So next up on my list is an indie
Mhm.
game that came out, I think like early January 28th of this year. Coffee Talk. Such a good game. It's like the whole point is like you play as this barista. I'm sorry, I had to burp.
I
You
want to say
play
every time I've burped, I've muted myself. Just saying.
you, you play as this person who owns a coffee shop, and it's just like it takes place in like this modern day medieval world where there's orcs, ghouls, zombies, and all this and that. And all you do is make coffee for them and listen to their problems. And there's like, yeah, work was hard today. And then you don't get an option like a dialogue choice, so it's more of like a visual novel game. And the only aspects of the game that actually has gameplay is where you're actually making the coffee. But it's like people are like, yeah, I had a hard day at work and my boss was being a bitch. And you're like, huh, maybe but you say it more politely, like maybe your boss is being a bitch because she just got divorced. Like, have you ever thought about that kind of thing? And it's just like, it's you listening to people's problems and just helping to make their day so better. And that really resonated well with me. It was a really fun game to play. And I streamed it,
So,
and I was
mhm.
like doing voices and all that. It was a lot of fun.
But if you're a barista or a therapist, you probably won't like it because that's your job already. But it was fun. It was cute.
Hmm. Up next on my list, I'm playing it right now. I'm a whore for the Gears franchise. Um, Gears Tactics right now. I'm currently playing it, and it's a game like XCOM, if
Mhm.
you've played like those tactical games. But one thing I really like about this Gears of War, it's like super cheesy. Like I'm only like maybe like a few hours into the game, maybe like 2 hours,
Mhm.
but it's like the first mission. He's like, I'm out. I don't do these spec ops missions anymore. And he was like, the general has called you. You have to do it. Then the general's talking to him, and he's like, fine, I'll do it. And he's talking to like the guy who like brought him back in. He was like, but listen, if we're doing these missions, you don't answer to the general, you answer to me. And he was like, fine, whatever gets the job done. And I'm like, this is corny as fuck, and I love it. And yeah, it's a fun game too, especially because it's a prequel to Gears of War 1. So like they kind of have free range to do a lot of shit, and it's really fun. I like it.
Mhm.
Going off to you now.
Okay, I have two games left.
Me
My
too.
last meh game is Pokemon Sword and Shield.
What?
Okay, let me tell you
Well,
something.
Pokemon Sword and Shield came out last year, to be fair.
Did
But
it?
yeah, the DLCs came out this year though.
Okay,
So
then
they're
let's talk about
basically
the
they're
yeah.
basically a new game now.
So I just wanted to talk about it because it's just the story is just so mundane. It feels plot wise while you're able to do things. There is a story. Just the plot overall feels so directionless. Like you don't even meet the villain until near the end, and the combat system is just it's so old. Like I just need something new from Pokemon, and this wasn't it. It just
I,
wasn't it.
I will say
Like
this: the reason why this Pokemon game
I
has
liked
such
the
a
DLC though. I kind of liked the Pokemon designs there, but it was just more of the same.
the reason why I like this Pokemon specifically is because I never got into a Pokemon game until then.
Mhm.
Because
Okay.
when I bought my Switch, I was like, "Fuck it, I'll buy Pokemon. I'll get into
Mhm.
it." And I was like, "Holy fuck!" Like as soon as I heard the sound, like the opening score, it made me
Mhm.
feel like a kid again, and I just couldn't help but smile. And I was like, "Man, like it just resonated super well with me." And I really enjoyed it. And like me and my buddy Hooper or Alex, we every now and then we'll Poke battle like randomly.
Mhm.
And like we were like kind of like racing against each other to see who would finish the game first. And then little did I know he'd beat it in one night. And but like we like raced against each other with Pokemon to try to get their stats up first, and like we just battle it out. So that's why it's such a fun game in my opinion.
I respect that.
All right, sorry, go on.
No, that's it. You go back.
Okay,
Back
so
to you.
I have two more, and I'm gonna. So I have Hades, which came out on the Switch, and it just got a lot of love. It's this roguelike game, and it's just like you play as the son of who's the god of the underworld? Is it Hades? Yeah, it is Hades, right?
Yeah, I was like
Yeah.
confused. Like, what are you talking about?
And you play as the son of Hades, and it's like you're trying to find your mom who's escaped from the underworld. And
Persephone.
yeah, and I and all the other Greek gods are helping you escape. So like you have Zeus, you have Poseidon, Ares, and all these other gods. Like, here, let me give you some of my powers, and it's a super charming game. I haven't beat it yet, but it's like every time you die, you restart. But it's super fun, and all the characters are all charming. The voice acting is phenomenal, and everyone in that game is like super attractive too. And it's a really, really good game. You guys should play it. Support them.
I just want to say really quickly, poor freaking Hades, man, because Zeus and his wife and so many of those other Greek gods have done so much terrible things. Like, let me tell you right now, Hades isn't that bad compared to other people. So, like, but he just like in pulp culture and society, though, like he has this weird bad rap. So I want to say my real Hades stands out there. We're standing strong. We're not gonna take this propaganda. The end.
And then last on my list, it's a no-brainer. I have Cyberpunk 2077. I know it's like it's very divisive. But it's one of those games where it's like it's everything I thought it would be. And I'm fortunate enough to own an Xbox Series X, so I'm playing on a current gen console, and I haven't had any bugs. I haven't had anything like that. And I think it's a really, really good game. Like people say it's edgy, but like I feel like Cyberpunk is edgy by nature. And I enjoy it a lot. It's super fun.
I think it's really interesting that the last game you're mentioning is Cyberpunk, because next section I go on to is the ugly of the good, meh, and the ugly. And the only game I have on the ugly list is Cyberpunk 2077. Okay, let's talk about it.
Go for it.
Number one, I just don't care about the story. I can't get into it. Some of the I find more of the side quest more engaging than the overall storyline. But I can't get into it. And this really is a game for the next gen consoles. I would not be someone who's playing it on PS4 or Xbox One. Like, this is very much a game for the next console and maybe your computer, because the quality drop is just so blaring. And I know there's been issues.
Excuse.
Yeah, so that's why it's on my ugly part, because it's just because I'm just going over PS4 games. So PS4 Cyberpunk 2077 is just, no, that ain't it. You need to play it on the other console or on PC or something, because like the graphic drop was just so disparaging. It's like, ooh, it's not good.
Yeah, I will attest to that, where it's like the storyline can be a little difficult to follow. But I feel like that is on purpose. So where it's like, okay, they're trying to do like a Chris Nolan kind of thing, where it's like, oh, we're gonna do this, which then again, that's not necessarily a good thing either. But it does have some flaws like that, and I will admit. But overall, I do like the story, and I like the idea of Johnny Silverhand in your head, and he's slowly taking over your mind, and you have to find an alternative quick before that happens, and you just become an emptyless hollow person.
Yeah, I don't know, because like if that was happening, if Johnny was taking over like Ichiban from Yakuza, I'd be like, we gotta get out of there. We gotta figure this out. Or like Arthur from Red Dead, I'd be like, oh, we gotta save Arthur. But Art, I don't know. I just don't care.
Well,
like,
I think that was just because like V is like, I think the way I'm playing it specifically,
he's more of a blank. I mean, just real quick before you go, I think it is kind of intentional, because you do have dialogue options and you do get to decide what your character is like, but it's just, I don't know, it feels like there's a disconnect.
I feel very connected, probably because I'm the one playing it, you
Yeah,
know.
probably. Yeah.
And I like how like my V is like interacting with the world.
Mhm.
But yeah, I do gotta disagree with you on that. But I think
I
it's
won't.
fun. I think it's like
Uh-huh.
really, and I like the world building around it, and I like just listening to conversations on the
Mhm.
street and like driving
Yeah.
down the street and there's a fucking shootout and the cops aren't doing anything about it. I'm like, all right, but if I shoot someone, you're gonna like call the whole SWAT team on me.
Mhm. I won't speak on the gameplay though, because this is another game I'm watching and seeing the story. So since I'm not playing it, I'm not going to speak on the gameplay. So that's if that's
Okay.
something you want to talk about, you can. But
Yeah.
story wise, just not grabbing me.
I that's a fair point to be made because right now the story is kind of it's like you need to go find this person and you find a person. They're like, I'm not gonna help you till you help me. Now I'm gonna help you. So
Mhm.
it does get a little redundant in senses like that, but I feel like it's still it's still really good, and I'm excited to see what they do with the future of Cyberpunk. I'm obviously not finished with the game yet,
Yeah.
um, but I know they have like it's not 10 years, but I know they have like a 10-year plan, so to speak, for this game, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. And it's so funny because like you often see this on the internet. It's like either people love it or hate it, and I'm like clearly on the end. I like the game, and I see a lot of people like really outspoken about how much they dislike the game, and it's funny to see that play out.
I want to say for any people that are mad at me for not liking this game, I don't hate it. I just don't vibe with it. So
And it's a fair point to be made. Like you don't have to if you don't want to, you know.
yeah, like I'm not going, and I'm also not going around on Twitter like I'm just like, yeah, I'm not into it. Kind of ugly.
I have been on Twitter talking about it, how much I like it,
I saw.
and I have like gotten into some discussions, but they're nothing like crazy or anything like that.
Yeah.
I try to keep my conversations pretty civil on the internet because I'm trying to get a job. But if you
I'm
find my
very proud of
burner
you.
Twitter, that's a whole. I'm just kidding.
You
I don't.
find his burner Twitter at Super Namekian Goku Joestar
69. Hey.
69. Uh, that's where you'll find all the hate speech.
Since I think we're done talking about that, we got like a couple, like 5 minutes to kill, give or take. You want to talk about some movies that came out this year, or what little movies, or anything, any shows you want to talk
Okay.
about?
Uh, let me tell you guys right now, best thing to watch is Dolly Parton's Christmas special on Netflix. No, just kidding. I haven't seen it. I haven't watched any movies.
Tenet.
Okay,
Tenet was a good one.
the only movie that's new I watched, aside from Wonder Woman, and I'm so excited for Wonder Woman coming
That
out.
comes out Christmas, huh?
Yeah, Christmas Day on HBO Max and available theaters. But
Use promo code GeekPress to get nothing.
I was about to be like, what? No. Sad enough, the only movie I've seen that's kind of new this year has been New Mutants.
You haven't seen Palm Springs?
No, I don't know what that is.
It's Andy Samberg movie on Hulu.
Who's Andy Samberg? Is he the
Brooklyn
guy that's?
Nine-Nine.
Is he the like what you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know who Andy Samberg is?
Yeah, now I do.
Yeah. He had this movie on Hulu. Palm Springs. Really good movie. I think you'd like it. It's a charming movie.
I think I've seen commercials for it.
Watch it. Trust me, you'd like it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, any shows that you want to recommend?
Oh my
Like end of the
gosh.
year shows.
Um,
It could be stuff you're watching right now.
no. I just watch The Office all day. I don't have a personality. All I do
Hmm.
is watch The Office and quote The Office. That's all I do.
Okay, so for movies I could recommend to you guys, there hasn't been, like I said, there hasn't been too many movies. Fuck, what was that movie? I'm
Oh,
Alive.
I thought of something. Everyone watch The Last Airbender and Korra on Netflix. That's very good. Watch The
Okay,
Last Airbender.
so there was a movie that came out this year on Netflix. It's called Alive. It's a Korean zombie movie, a horror movie. Really, really good movie. The ending's kind of meh, but other than that, it's a solid movie. Another movie I could recommend is Palm Springs. It's on Hulu. What else? Tenet. I really enjoyed Tenet. My girlfriend didn't really care much for it. I think you could get it like on VOD on just about everything now. Those are the only movies I can think of at the top of my head. Shows I could recommend: The Good Place. Really, really good show. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. The first seasons gets a little slow. Second season, they flip the script and it just becomes something so heartwarming. It's such a great show. That was something I was watching. Big Mouth, the latest season was really, really good too.
Big Mouth is always interesting because I see that people either freaking hate it or they like it. Like there's no in between. They're just like
Really.
art style ugly, like terrible, or either they're like, yeah, it's funny.
And Mandalorian, obviously that's a banger always.
It has gotten better. I'm so happy it's gotten better.
I don't get why you're hating on that last episode. That shit was fire. It
I
was
wasn't
so
hate.
good.
I wasn't hating on the last episode. What are you talking about?
You were like, me and all the homies hate the Mandalorian. Let's use weird force things. I'm like, bro, this was
no,
good.
no, I was joking because I was talking ish on Twitter because I was sad my boy Grogu got kidnapped. That's why I was talking ish. I was like, this episode sucks because if they hurt Grogu, we're gonna riot. We're gonna riot. Me and the boys are gonna riot.
You're gonna cause an. Anything else? Any content that you wanna announce that you're working on, or anything you want to plug?
Just keep following the Geek Press on all social medias to see more stuff coming out from us. And that's all I really have to say.
Yeah, I'm putting it out into the universe right now so I could put Jacob Knight on blast. He's gonna be doing some in-depth videos on comic books since his
Ready for puppets.
Since his school semester has come to an end, such as mine. So he's gonna be doing weekly videos on why you should be reading XYZ comics. I'm leaving full creative freedom up to him, what he wants to do with them.
Why Heroes in Sanctuary is bad. Why my Brian Michael Bendis is bad. Why it's gonna be all hate videos. It's just I'm gonna cause controversy.
I'll give you a little like tidbit. So you see this this Attack on Titan poster. For audio listeners, I'm pointing at an Attack on Titan poster on my wall. We're gonna do a little video talking about Attack on Titan. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to get too much into it because I feel like I'm gonna give a very key component of that video away. But Mr. Jacob Knight and I, we might be doing a Zoom conversation talking about this. I still haven't figured out the mechanics. This is one I really want to take my time on now. But yeah, I think those are all the future projects we're doing, other than the TikToks we do, the Instagram, Twitter posts we do. Like Mr. Jacob Knight said, if you want to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, it's at Da Geek Press, DA Geek Press. It's spelled how it sounds. On TikTok, we are the Geek Press, THE Geek Press. It's spelled how it sounds. So give us a follow on there. Yeah, but I think that's about it. I'd like to thank all of you guys for, watching this episode, listening to this episode. I know it's kind of a long one, but I wanted to make it kind of lengthy to make up for lost times. You want to say anything?
Remember to be kind to others and kind to yourself.
Yeah, and wear your mask, okay, and be safe.
Wear your mask. Everyone wear your mask.
But with that being said, I hope you guys have a good day, good night, good afternoon, and I'll see you when I see you. Take care, guys.